Fear not, denizens, parade is here, aka the bringer of rain, aka father of the sea and sun, aka king of the core. And today we are talking about HBO Max, The Penguin. It is a show spun off from the Matt Reeves The Batman movie starring Colin Farrell. I just watched episode 1. It dropped today, and I have some thoughts. Surface thoughts. I like the show. It is kind of a slow burn. It was an hour and 7 minutes from the runtime on screen. I mean, without the credits and maybe an intro or the beginning trailer. But I enjoyed it enough. Again, slow burn, so I was a little bit bored. But the parts where the tension is high, it's good. I think this first episode is establishing the Penguin as a character here in Gotham. They open it up with kind of almost a Batman-esque shot from behind, slowly panning up with the news report of the events that just happens at the end of the Batman. I haven't watched the Batman since its release. I think I've only seen it once. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit, but I have to go back and rewatch just to kind of be up on what's going on in this universe. But for the most part, they kind of recap it well. They say the Riddler broke the walls, cities flood, and the gangs might be at war because Carmine has been murdered. His son's taking his place, and we move on from there in this show. So spoilers for the Penguin. It's hard to talk about this first episode without spoiling it. So if you haven't watched it, please come back to Rancor on YouTube and watch the rest and hear my thoughts. But I like the cast. Colin Farrell disappears into this role. The makeup's good. The prosthetics are great. You can't even tell it's Colin Farrell. He is a fantastic actor. I'm glad he's getting another lead role. I know that he's had leads in movies and things, and Hollywood hasn't really thought, hey, we should keep using this guy. It's kind of been on the back burner, but this Penguin role's great. The character is great. It's actually very dynamic, and you can see where this arc is going. You know that the Penguin here has been kind of low level. No one's really respecting him. And as it progresses through this episode, where it starts out, where he murders Alfonso Carmine, he doesn't like to be laughed at, and he wants to be treated with more respect. So you can empathize as the audience that, yeah, I get that. Someone's disrespecting you, and you might want to do something about it. And he does something about it, but it puts him in a predicament. And they introduce Sophia Carmine, who is probably going to be the season's antagonist to our titular hero, the Penguin. And just seeing these crime families within Gotham kind of vying for power now since Carmine's gone. But it's actually cool seeing how the Penguin uses his smarts and his words of persuasion and deception to kind of manipulate things into his favor, to lie his way through into power. And that's actually the interesting part of the show. Like I said before, it's about an hour long. I could have probably cut 15 minutes out. Yeah, it kind of builds character in those 15 minutes, but there's not... We know what Gotham is. I mean, if you're a DC fan, you watch Batman. You know what Gotham is. We've seen iterations of this world. It's terrible. Like, there's homeless, there's prostitution, there's drugs, there's gangs. Like, we get it. The Penguin is terrifying. He picks up an accomplice named Victor Aguilar. I actually like this character, and I think he'll be a good foil to the Penguin, especially towards the end of this episode where he actually finds himself to be useful to the Penguin. And I thought that was cool. But my guess is Victor's not going to make it to the end of the season. I mean, he might, but I think he's so innocent and pure that they might strip him away at some point. And HBO, it's an HBO show. They're not pulling any punches, in my opinion, when it comes to gruesome violence. They show someone get murdered, or they show a few people get murdered. They're showing torture. So if I rated this episode as episode 1, I can see how some people wouldn't really be feeling it. I think it doesn't have the exact tone of the Batman. I don't think it should. But it's it's slightly a tonal shift. I think it has a little bit of comedy to alleviate what this world is. And it's funny, if you follow this channel, I'm a big Star Wars fan. It's funny that when the Book of Boba Fett came out, it was talking about like gangs and the underworld. This is what the underworld is. They're hitting it. Like, this is what I expected from a Penguin show. Oh, yeah. Speaking of gangs, shout out to Clancy Brown. I wasn't expecting to see him. A lot of good actors. Oh, yeah. The dude who plays Alphonse Carmine. I can't remember his name, but he was in Marvelous Miss Maisel. And I thought his role was good. A little annoying, but he's not going to be in the show. He's been swimming with the fishes. I don't think his name was Alphonse. I think it was Alberto. Alberto Falcone. But yeah, I like seeing this rise of the Penguin. I'm excited to see the rest of the show. Like, I feel like if this is episode 1, you know, you gotta have to set up what the show's gonna be, who the characters are, who the players are. I feel like it'll ramp as we go through these episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes there are going to be. I would guess 8 to 10. I'd be surprised if it's longer than that. I'd be curious if we see the Batman. It would be fun to see any other DC characters kind of pop up in this world. And yeah, I think that would be fun to see cameos of what other characters they can pull from the DC universe, from the Rogues Gallery, the kind of C-list Batman villains. Because Sophia called herself the Hangman, or she said other characters referenced her as the Hangman. Probably betting that's a DC character, and I'm not exactly sure. I really like Batman as a character. I like his Rogues Gallery. I watched all of the new Amazon Prime animated Batman show recently by Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves. That show, I give it a 7. Just quick review on that. It had new origins for villains and some from the comic books that they had never put in the TV show. I like that part, but it doesn't really go a level deeper. This show does. Shout out to the scene where Penguin's talking to his mom. He wants to run away. And she goes, "Why are you going to try to run away? This is what you wanted. Take what is yours. Go for it." That's the real pivotal part of this episode. And I think that gives him the gusto to actually gun for the top seed in Gotham. So I really like that. That was probably my favorite scene in the show, and the end of just the plan they came up with to get out of Sophia Carmine's death grip there. Another awesome scene that I really liked was when Sophia and the Penguin went out for dinner, and there's that tension between them where she's trying to fish for information about her brother and where he might be, and the pitch he had for like the new super drug or whatever. She's like, "I'm the only one he told about that. How do you know about that?" And the tension in that scene was really great, really high, and you could see how the Penguin weaseled his way out of that conversation. So another awesome, great scene. So let me know if you saw the Penguin. Different kind of video. This is just me and my thoughts. But let me know in the comments what you thought of the Penguin. If you're going to watch, if you haven't watched yet. If you haven't watched yet, I don't know why you got to the end of this video. Maybe you just wanted a review. I don't know. But if you watched episode 1, let me know what you thought. Subscribe to the Rancor channel. I hope you have a great rest of your dark Gotham night. Punch it, Chewie. Boom! Out of here.